coming up on the Capital Tycoon podcast.
Originally, I was a designer, and I thought, no, I want to move into digital marketing. So I changed tack, and I thought, now I'm in digital marketing. What can I do to elevate myself and learn different things? Social media as well, how you use social media to elevate your brand, and it's a tool that everybody should be using, I feel, and just using it in the right way. I worked at a social media agency for 18 months, running campaigns for Diageo. We did a campaign for Lady Leisure, and it won a ton of awards. And I've been fortunate to have won quite a ton of awards along the way, working with great people. And that's what I enjoy doing, working on big brands, running their campaigns, and just kind of learning new technology as I'm going along in my career. And whether you're young or old, and that's what they should be doing, enjoying what they love doing.
What does entrepreneurship mean to you?
It just means that have to have the ability to be able to do anything you can touch, and not be scared, right? And I think you just need to be able to think, if I want to do something, just go and do it. There's always fear of not succeeding, but if you don't try, you won't learn. If you're going to watch YouTube videos, watch something that you're going to learn and think, how can I implement that in real life? None of this has been taught in schools. I wasn't certainly not taught it. I'm sure you wasn't, and you're much younger than me.
What have been some challenges for you that you have faced in business?
Your health is wealth. That's what people say, and it's true. As you grow older, you find that out much more quicker, especially when you lose your loved ones, and
Welcome to Capital Tycoon, the place where future innovators come to learn. My guest today is Tandy Virdee. This is our first in-person episode of Capital Tycoon podcast. And so this is a special episode. And thank you, Tandy, for letting us film from your place. And so we'll just get started. So Tandy, tell me a bit about your journey. I know we had a call prior to the podcast and you told me like a really insightful story, but share that with the audience.
No problem. Well, thank you for inviting me. Pleasure. Hopefully we'll get a good story for the podcast, but appreciate you inviting me. So my journey, let's start on my journey. So my journey started in the early 90s. So I was at arts college. I spent 2 years at art college, and then I went on to spend 3 years at doing a degree in graphic design. And after I kind of graduated with a BA honours degree, I always wanted to get into design. Even at the age of 16, my parents would say, what do you want to do as a career? And I would say, I want to do art. And obviously it's slightly different to any other child, going into an industry which nobody really knew about at that time. I didn't have any role models to look up to. So I just said, that's what I want to do. And that's what I ended up doing. So I spent the first kind of 6 months just trying to understand how, commercially, in terms of getting a job, understanding how I need to get a job. And eventually, after about doing some voluntary work experience after I graduated, learning the ropes really, in terms of graphic design. And then after 6 months, I got my first job. I worked for a sports media marketing agency. I spent quite a lot of time there, 4 or 5 years. I worked my way up from a junior designer all the way up to a senior creative, working with a whole load of massive brands at that time, NEC, Reader's Digest at that time, Harlequins Rugby Club, with Will Carlin. So, we had a roster of amazing clients, it was great just learning my first job, in terms of, the industry itself. working with amazing designers, amazing creative directors, which funny enough, I'm still in contact with to this day. And kind of really just got to know what the industry was about, from a design point of view. And then after spending 5 years at a sports marketing agency, I decided to run my own agency. I spent a good 2-3 years running an agency, was part of 4 partners, and I was fortunate to run the agency. I was a creative director at the agency. We had a team of 4. Again, we had quite a lot of great clients: Barclaycard, Hill Samuel Asset Management at that time. Reader's Digest was one of our clients. And I was fortunate enough to kind of, it was bought out by a PLC company. And I was fortunate enough to kind of move on from my journey and set in, having started an agency from nothing, to be able to be in a position for a PLC to buy it. And then I decided to change direction at that time, having worked in kind of traditional design. I wanted to get more and more into graphic design in terms of digital marketing. And at that time, you had your Facebooks around that were coming, and kind of you kind of knew that was the space to be in, and this was probably 2003, 2004. And then I just changed my direction in thinking, I want to move more into digital. I ended up working for a digital marketing agency, which is WPP, which is probably the largest advertising design agency in the world. I worked on the Nokia account. I run the Nokia EMEA account for WPP, and spent a good 3-4 years working with amazing, talented designers, developers, strategists on an EMEA account, and running out campaigns across Europe. And again, also working offshore, working with offshore companies, working on different types of projects on Facebook, web builds, and social media was just trying to kind of play its part at that time. And then I just went on to another couple of massive agencies, spent a good 2-3 years at a few more agencies, consulting for Kellogg's. I went on to a few more accounts, which was Kellogg's and Reader's Digest, Barclaycard. Probably the top brands that you can think of, I probably touched. Amazing experience working across different work streams, different touch points, whether it's digital marketing, whether it's influencer marketing, social media, video production. So I kind of did that on purpose, really, to touch every touch point, because that's what I enjoy doing. It doesn't, regardless how old you are, there's always room for learning new technology with AI and AR. It's an area that I've been interested in for years, and especially social media as well, how you use social media to elevate your brand. And it's a tool that everybody should be using, I feel, and just using it in the right way. I worked at a social media agency for 18 months, running campaigns for Diageo. We did a campaign for Lady Leisure, which is a grime artist for Diageo, and it was the first ever grime artist to work with an alcoholic company. And yeah, it won a ton of awards, and I've been fortunate to have won quite a ton of awards along the way, working with great people. And that's what I enjoy doing, working on big brands, running their campaigns, and just kind of learning new technology as I'm going along in my career. And it's been great, and I'm currently working on quite a few large brands at the moment, and I enjoy what I do. It's the main thing I enjoy, and I've enjoyed it for 30 odd years. and there's never been any time where I feel, this is not the industry for me, regardless of whether I was in my first 15 years was mainly kind of hands-on creative lead, but now it's more consulting, working with big brands, but working with big agencies, running their kind of campaigns. And yeah, I just enjoy what I do. And I think every person, whether you're young or old, and that's what they should be doing, enjoying what they love doing.
Insightful. And
Thank you.
I think, I think that's really the key. I think you have to really enjoy what you do and sort of be obsessed with it. I've also heard like some people say like really be obsessed with it in a positive way. So yeah, definitely. I'm sort of curious, what is the meaning of entrepreneurship to you? You obviously have that like entrepreneurial focus with all your endeavors. So what does entrepreneurship mean to you?
I think it just means that have to have the ability to be able to do anything you can touch, yeah, and not be scared, right? And I think you just need to be able to think, if I want to do something, just go and do it. There's always fear of not succeeding, but if you don't try, you won't learn. And that's what I've been doing all my career, where originally I was a designer and I thought, no, I want to move into digital marketing. So I changed tack, and I thought, now I'm in digital marketing. What can I do to elevate myself and learn different things? And I think, you need to be able to adapt in whatever position you are, whatever role you are. And that makes you even more powerful when you're applying for jobs. For example, the younger generation are applying for jobs. If you can adapt, you're going to be much more powerful going into interviews or talking to people, networking, because you need to stand out from the crowd. That's what I say, because there's a big crowd out there. Unless you're different, you're not going to get a chance, So I think you just need to be adaptable and just go for it. Don't be scared.
Yeah, makes sense. And on the youth generation, so what is your advice what is your advice for the young generation in particular when it comes to pursuing an entrepreneurial path? And also, yeah, I suppose what is the importance of that?
I think the what's important for the younger generation is to believe. And what I normally say to my boys, is make the impossible possible, and I encouraged that with the boys. And obviously, having gone through the journey in setting up their clothing brand in 2020 during COVID, you need to instill in young kids that anything is possible. Yes, you need the right direction. Yes, you need support. But if you use that to your advantage, and at the end of the day, they're your kids, you want the best for them, right? And whatever you can do to help, that's on us to do, right? So, I encourage any young kid who's got a dream, who's got a goal, to just go for it, and don't be scared, and try to get support, and a lot of the parents are very supportive of it doesn't matter what field you're in, whether it's acting, modeling, sports, women's football, girls football, and there's some incredible talent out there within our community. Incredible. And we followed a lot of journeys of young kids for the last 5-6 years, obviously with my boys' journey of Rocketsonic. We've met some incredible young talented kids who have really been doing a lot of hard work in the background in terms of want to become actors, want to become sportsmen or women, and I just encourage that. I love seeing sort of things like that, because they work hard to get to where they want to get to. But sometimes those dreams die very quickly. But I love seeing the journey, and obviously with the new initiative that I've been working on with a team, we're quite a close team, and they're very supportive parents who've got talented kids. And I see the initiative as a teamwork, But yeah, I just enjoy seeing young kids who are got a dream. That's what I say to him, just dream.
Yeah, for sure. And another question which came to mind is, um, what is, so given that we live in a world where like technologies are exponential, and they're sort of, these emerging technologies, and we live in a really rapid, fast-paced world. Um, what kind of world do you want to see in the future your kids grow up in? So you have two young twin boys. So what kind of world do you want them to see, let's say in 50 years or 100 years time? Yeah.
So funny you should say that. So social media, you know, a lot of kids have got accounts and they run their own accounts. But when I started showing them how to use social media via their clothing brand, I used it in a positive way by promoting their brand, right? You know, and that kind of instilled in them that the way we want to use social media is to promote our brand, to show the journey of dad and his sons are working on a project together, which is important, priceless. You know, developing a clothing brand or anything, you can, it's easy. I wouldn't say it's easy, but you can do it. Anybody can do it if they put their mind to it. But what's been important, you know, during our 3.5, 4 years journey is three of us working together.
Yeah.
You know, they're talking to me and said, Dad, let's do a t-shirt with a skull. Okay, fine, I'll bring it to life for you, right? Yes, they're 8 years old, you know, but they've picked up so much knowledge from us working together, you know, from how you develop a brand from ground up. You know, that's what we've technically done, right? Because I've got the experience and support to do it. You know, I can support them to do it. Where he'd come up with his little drawing during COVID, you know, when first lockdown, you know, and they'd say, Dad, what are you doing for a project today? And I said, look, I'm working on a campaign and we're working for XYZ. And then I thought, well, why don't I just show them what their dad does as a living, right? You know, my wife would be doing homeschooling in the morning, and obviously they enjoy art, they love art. And I said, look, let me just show you how we can make something small and see where we go with it. And I'll show you how we can do it. You know, and coming up with a little drawing and saying, Dad, you know, it's a rocket. And I said, well, okay. And would you want the rocket to be a boys' clothing brand? Okay, good idea. Why a boys' clothing brand? Why not unisex? Oh, because we're boys. Fine. Okay, you're going to limit yourself, but let's run with it. And then from there, it just kind of grew organically, you know, and it was like kind of selling the story of, you know, dad working with his two sons, growing a small brand, and yeah, and you know, we've got some great traction from it, you know, getting on BBC Radio London, the local press picked up the news, and it's been great. And you know, 4 years on, 4 awards, a couple of nominations for quite a lot of awards. They've just won the best top 30 British Asian talent, top 30 British Asian talent in the UK.
Oh, wow.
They picked up their award at the House of Parliament, which was a prestige event, you know, with many dignitaries are out there, and they saw the journey of three of us working together, and him learning how to set up business Google pages, tagging, everything. He's just been learning, you know, and he learns it off YouTube, learns it off me, and he's using that technology in a positive way, right? And that's what I instill in them. If you're going to watch YouTube videos, watch something that you're going to learn and think, how can I implement that in real life? You know, and he's been doing some of the videos actually for New Young Blood at the moment, and he just shows me them, and it's incredible what I'm seeing that he's been able to do, learn, setting up his own TikTok account, and then pushing his content out, getting 600, 700, 800 views on each piece of content, right? Knowing how to tag. That's the 12-year-old, by the way.
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully, you know, he can just use that and grow with it and create his own opportunities in life and see where he goes. You know, as parents, we're always there to support.
Yeah, for sure. And um, I guess another question is, so you mentioned your boys are homeschooled. So I'm curious to know, like, what is your opinion on the current education system? Do you think they teach entrepreneurship enough? And like, what sort of skills, if not, what sort of skills should they be teaching?
Yeah, so funny enough, that's a very good question because I've always asked those questions, because none of this has been taught in schools. I wasn't certainly not taught it. I'm sure you wasn't, and you're much younger than me, right? And that yeah, I have had many discussions with senior people around bringing in entrepreneurship into schools because it's such an important part of life, right? Growing up, thinking, I want to become something, I want to run my own business, even to a point where finance is important in a business, and you don't really get to know any of that really, apart from maths. But I think it's really important that our education system has, some sort of program where kids can learn entrepreneurship. Simple as that. And I'm
Mm,
all up for that, and it's important that the kids in our generation understand that, if you do want to become an entrepreneur or a football player, or run a business, you kind of learn that from schools, right?
mm,
And then when you get out of school at 16, 18, you think, you know what, I do want to start a business and I want to start this.
mm. That's an interesting topic,
Yeah,
yeah. And I think also a lot of people even don't follow their passion. Like after going to school, like they just
yeah,
follow whichever one might have the highest salary, or whichever one they've been told to
yeah.
path to follow. How do people, would you say, find their passion in the first place? Do you think it's just something they realize when they're young, or is it, or do you think it might come later?
Well, most of the people I know, they kind of learn it when they're young and they follow that dream,
Mm,
you know, and it could be any dream, I want to become an actor, or a footballer, for example, right? There's lots of talented footballers out there within South Asian, and they all play football. They all have a dream. They all want to be the next, role model that they see out there. And unfortunately, that dream sometimes kind of dies because they've not got the opportunities that you would expect. And hopefully, as things are changing, we will see, a lot of big stars in our premierships from South Asian communities, a lot more bigger stars than, we have got loads. But hopefully we can get, the creme de la creme right at the top, playing for England, playing for all the clubs. And that's our dream, right? To see
mm,
a lot more South Asians in football. I'm a football fan myself. My boys play football. We actually sponsored a football club last year. We designed the training kit. So, there's many kids who want to become footballers, right? Or become actors, or become models, or become artists, or become, entrepreneurs or kidpreneurs.
yeah.
But as long as you support them and you kind of just make them feel that it's achievable, you just have to go for it, right?
Sure, yeah. Who are some highlights in the South Asian community, would you say, in the youth generation, in these fields you mentioned?
Yeah, obviously, we've got our new initiative where, it's just an extension of the boys' journey in terms of us kind of developing Rocketsonic. And the new initiative, New Young Blood, is literally an extension of it, right? Where, we've three of us been working together, and we thought, we like to kind of work with other talented kids in the UK, and there's incredible talent. We've just we've been following a lot of their journey. They've become friends, um, and seeing their journey from 4, 5, 6 years ago in quite a lot of disciplines. It's incredible the amount of passion, dedication that only do they put into, whether it's acting, whether it's modeling, whether it's a sports activity. Parents have been great in terms of supporting that, which is important, right? Because they've got dreams to become whatever they want to become, right? but it's also important that the parents support that.
Mm.
And we've had some incredible talent coming through on the new initiative. I've just been blown away by, actors, singers, girls football, boys football, racing drivers who want to become the first South Asian Formula One champion. And these incredible kids at, 7, 8, 9 years old, even boxers who want to become boxers at such a young age. And that's their dream, and hopefully they'll continue that dream. And we're there to support that dream however we can and give them a platform to elevate that dream, right? So everybody knows that, these guys put in hard work to become who they want to become.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so given all your experience, like 33 years of experience, you said, so knowing what you know now, is there anything you would change to maybe even make yeah, I suppose, how should I word this? Is there anything you would change so that you would not repeat mistakes you might have made in your entrepreneurial journey?
No, wouldn't make. No,
Mm.
not really. I would have started probably something earlier if I could from a business point of view. But
Yeah.
that was, obviously, until you had experience and support, you could only be in that position to do so.
Mm.
But yeah, if I could have started something earlier, I would have done that. Hence the reason why the boys are starting earlier, right? So they can build a personal brand, as they say.
Mm.
So by the time they get to 18 or 19 and say, Dad, look, I just want to go and work for someone, they can already got a story to sell, right?
Yeah.
They've already got a story to a employer to sell and say, I'm different than the others that you're interviewing because I've done X, Y, Z.
Mm.
And that's what employers look for nowadays. They want entrepreneurship skills within yourself so you can adapt, like what we were saying earlier. And hopefully they'll take that on, whether they work for themselves or whether they work for anybody. They stand out from the crowd,
Mm.
with all this noise of people fighting for jobs and want to be different. You have to dare to be different. But hopefully that journey that they've spent with me is something they can take with them and share that story and say, this is why we're different.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess now going on to the topic of social media. So since it's like a really important tool in this day and age, what are some tips you have for people who want to use social media to the fullest? And also, you mentioned like organic growth. To me, it's like, what's the importance of that as well?
Organic growth, you literally get the audience that you're after, right? In terms of organic growth, you obviously got your paid media side of things, which is, if you want to grow faster or quicker or target your audience. But it's important with organic growth, you get the right type of followers, depending on what niche or what area you're into. Also support your initiative. Especially, our initiative, New Young Blood, we're all slowly organically growing, and that organic growth has been great. We've got talent who are following us, we've got parents who are following us, but then we also have got support from kind of, mainstream personalities as well, which is important, so we can showcase them at the right type of audiences, and using it in a positive way as well, from a social media point of view. And we obviously working within social media and working across different brands and different projects. We kind of just implement that in the way we work on Rocketsonic, for example, and working with young talent as well. A lot of our stuff from Rocketsonic for the last 4 years, what we love doing is working with young talented kids. And a lot of the models that we've kind of been showcasing on Rocketsonic, for example, they are talented kids who've been doing modeling, for example, and some of those are kind of, I would say, probably the top 3, 4 in the world in terms of modeling, kids modeling. I would say the UK for sure. One's gone on his way up, he's actually in one TV program at the moment who modeled for us, 2 years ago. So, and we just like to support, the youth, the youngsters as well through their journey, and then also supporting us through our journey, and even to an extent that working with talent in your age group, whether it's a photographer or a content creator who's 15, 16, we like working with them because that's our philosophy. We're young, the boys are young, so why don't we work with somebody who's also young? The young kids nowadays, they learn social media so quick nowadays, and they've got the power. They create content like viral content straight off because they're in the heart of knowing how to use this medium, right? Where I've been in the industry for 33 years, these guys are on the ground. So it's important that you work with these guys because they know what that future holds if you want to push out content, do viral content. So we like working with youngsters as well in terms of the brand Rocketsonic.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think another question is, so you mentioned, I think you mentioned this in our prior call. So like you mentioned the importance of not just showcasing the youth, but also like make a connection with them, actually interacting with them. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think New Young Blood is kind of more around showcasing the vast talent that we have in the UK, from racing drivers, from actors, sports, all the disciplines. We're touching every discipline that is out there, and having that platform to elevate them and help them and support them. That's what the platform is about. It's to support, it's to showcase that there is a vast pool of talent that we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate as a community, and a lot of the talent that we have been showcasing, they've been around for years doing what they're doing. It's not, some of that talent hasn't been plucked out of thin air and they've just literally started last week. They've followed our journey, we've followed their journey for 5, 6, 7 years. And the platform is there now to just say, look, we can now showcase this, and say, look, we are, footballers, whether you're a girl or a boy, we are young actors and we have featured in XYZ. We've just, and some of the talent that has been featured, they've done some incredible stuff. We've got models that modeled for Ralph Lauren, Primark, Zara. We've got a young actress. She's done a couple of Bollywood films. We've just, it's just incredible, and nobody really gets to know that, unless you come together as a community and you work together, because one person can do only so much, right?
Yeah.
Individually, right? But when you come together, you can do so much more, right? You can showcase so much more, right? And that's what we're doing. It's a simple idea, and that's what we slowly are doing. And the parents support it. We've got the talent, and we get some interest from the public support. Then it's a great platform to do that, I think. And we've had some great support, and we're just going to continue and just grow organically and just make sure we kind of pull in the right creme de la creme of talent and just showcase them and celebrate their achievements. A lot of them are going, one of our talent is off to Prague for the dance championships for England. That's a talent in itself, so we should be celebrating, right, as a community, and saying hats off to you. That's what I do to my boys, and I do it to the talent that we showcase.
Yeah, that's excellent. And I think, it's sort of like there's like a hidden potential in society, and it only like sort of, you can only sort of unlock it like when you like sort of, as you said, like come together as a community, and like nothing can be done alone, I guess. So what have been some challenges for you that you have faced in business?
Challenges, I think just coming from obviously when I first started my journey, being British Asian, there was a lot of challenges then, coming from a British Asian background, and mainly being in an industry which obviously didn't see a lot of British Asians or South Asians. Simple as that. Went to art college where there was hardly any, and a lot of people in my generation would probably say the same. But obviously the creative industry is different. It's changing now. You've got a lot of senior management who are, British Asian, South Asians, who are running the show in a lot of the, some of the advertise agencies, design agencies, but there's not enough. I don't feel there's enough, and hopefully, as I've been growing in terms of my journey, I see a lot more, young, hungry creatives who are getting into good positions. There is a lot more, but I feel there needs to be more, there needs to be more happening where we can create more opportunities, for our young kids as well. We want to get into creative industries, want to get into advertising, and hopefully we will see more, because definitely when I went to art college, there was just a handful, but I love seeing a lot more of it now. And hopefully we can just grow, but we grow much more.
Yeah, true. I want to pivot. Like, are there any inspirations? Like, who inspires you?
My mum and dad inspire me. Coming from Africa, setting up home, and going through life, working, 5 days a week. My dad was on 7 days a week, and setting us up to where we are now. And I guess everybody would say that, right? Anybody you would talk to would say, I'm inspired by my parents. Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here, right? Simple as that. You wouldn't be here, right? You wouldn't be doing what you're doing, right? Which is a fascinating journey in itself, right? In terms of what you're doing. But yeah, they inspire me every day. Unfortunately, I lost my father last year, but I'm sure he'll be proud of what we're doing in terms of what his grandsons are doing, and generally his grandkids. But yeah, they've been an incredible inspiration to me, and understanding as you grow older, you understand how much effort, time, sacrifice that they've had to do to get us to where we are, right? But yeah, that's been my inspiration.
That's wonderful. Yeah. And now more on the business side of things, like a lot of people who may want to start a business, or are already starting a business, they might be driven by money, let's say, because like it's like has like is obviously like unlimited earning potential. Do you think, what's your take on like do you think it's more important to follow just the passion, or like if someone has like a strong conviction, do you think, is it the money? Like, what's your take on that?
Bit of both, isn't it? But I'm driven by passion, right? And yes, obviously you want to make lots of money, but then you ain't going to be able to take it with you.
Yeah.
Simple as that, right? As long as you're comfortable, as long as you've got family around you, your health is wealth. That's what people say, and it's true. As you grow older, you find that out much more quicker, especially when you lose your loved ones, and yeah, as long as you got, you enjoy what you're doing, and that's what I enjoy what I do. Like I was saying earlier, and that's the most important thing. You can't take money with you. So you just got to be humble and just do what you enjoy doing, and just to be kind. Be kind to people, and show respect.
Yeah, that I agree. Yeah. And I guess, what is the importance of giving back, like whether it be to the community or just individuals? What is the importance of that?
Importance is it's a great initiative that we've set up, giving back to the community in terms of my background. You know, I mentor young entrepreneurs for Virgin Startup. It's just kind of giving back. You know, everybody has experience in life in whatever profession you're in, right? But I'm no gatekeeper. I don't be a gatekeeper. I'm happy to spread, you know, experience, knowledge to whoever asks, right? You know, and somebody says, "Oh, Tandy, what do I do? You know, I've got a product." For example, you know, we were talking earlier. You know, it's just helping. You know, helping whoever wants help, wherever I can help, I will help. You know, I'm not one to kind of keep that information, right? You know, and if anybody asks, you know, I need to set this up, I need to set this up, and it's just giving back as well, right? And what am I going to gain from keeping all this information? Nothing. But if I share it, you feel good as well, right? So I think
Yeah.
it's important, and you know, and that's why I enjoy doing as well, sharing knowledge that I've got. People want to ask about how to set up a business, or how to market a product, or how to brand a product, how to design a product. Happy to share my knowledge. I've got no issues around doing that, you know. And if they help us in terms of promoting our brand, even better.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's why that New Young Blood has been set up for, you know. It's obviously to showcase what the talent we have, but also get the support as well. And that's what we're about.
Yeah. And yeah, I think I love that concept. It's like give without take, and sort of yeah, I guess yeah, you do find more happiness like if you follow that rather than sort of
100%.
like keeping it to yourself and this you know, not sharing. And again, going back to your point of like community, like you can't do all the work alone. Yeah, sort of.
You can't, and you just have to, you know. I put a post up actually a couple of last week on New Young Blood, and it was just like, I'm running a campaign actually. We were running a campaign around just you know, what are we as a brand? Our brand, our Instagram channel is We Are New Young Blood. So the campaign was just like a mini campaign that I thought, let's run a campaign saying, what are we? You know, and a lot of the talent is that there's something, right? They're actors. We are actors. You know, we are sports stars. We are, talented. We are dedicated. We are passionate. These young kids are passionate, dedicated, you know, in just having a line just says what we are, which is we are. We've had incredible people saying we're dedicated, we're talented. One that stuck out, which I put, is we are one. That's what it is. We are one. You know, everybody can do their own thing individually, but together you can be much more powerful, right? As a community. And that post just resonated with me so much. And that's what the brand is about, you know, and we are one, because you can only do so much alone.
True.
Yeah.
What are your next steps for your companies?
So next step for the new initiative, especially the new initiative, is to just grow organically, get support, and hopefully we can get opportunities for the young talent, which is important. But we just take as it comes, you know. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I've had some great support from parents, talent, and it's just kind of just pushing the message out, you know, that there's brilliant talent out there, and hopefully we can create some opportunities from it. You know, even if we get one opportunity, that's brilliant. You know, one opportunity for one of the talent that we showcase coming through New Young Blood, that'd be amazing for us. You know, in terms of Rocketsonic, we just continue to grow. We've got a TikTok campaign coming out in late summer, which we've been working in the background. We've been working with, funny enough, a young talent, a very young talent, absolutely brilliant at what she does. She's a content creator, she's a strategist, you name it. She's literally young, set up her own company, and we connected through TikTok, funny enough. She works on TikTok campaigns. She's set up a business, run a few years just working for somebody. And then she said, I'm just going to do it myself. And we connected, loved her journey. She's from our own community, South Asian community. That's what we love working with, to promote our own, our community, whether you've got a business. And we connected straight away. We connected, and I said, let's run a TikTok campaign, and TikTok obviously is, a medium which, as you know, right, you can, the reach is excellent on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, so forth. But we thought, yes, we're primary running Instagram as our main channel, because you can run so many channels and you need a lot of people running them, right? So we said, let's go for TikTok this year. And we're running our first campaign in the summer. And yeah, let's see where that goes. We're going to be pushing out content after content for Rocketsonic. And then we'll see how much traction we can get. So, and hopefully people will enjoy seeing the journey that we've gone through. And we're literally going to put it in a journey, a timeline journey from when we started and where we are, and where we are now is obviously winning the award at the House of Parliament last month. We're up for 3 more awards at the NEC in August. So we've got that campaign running. We're also doing the boys are in this high profile Asian luxury magazine, sitting alongside the who's who in whatever acting field, sports, music. They've been invited to be showcased, 12-year-olds, showcased, global achievers. We couldn't be prouder. Couldn't be prouder that we've had an opportunity to do that. So we're working on it. We're working on some stuff for that. So yeah, Rocketsonic's doing some really nice, interesting stuff that I'm pushing, disrupting a lot of the work that is happening out there in this field, especially on new young blood. We are trying to be disruptive, which I think is important, and make some noise. Just make even a little noise is better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to try a few little different things from a creative angle point of view as well, and just make things, different. And that's what, from my point of view, that's what I enjoy doing something just a little bit over, a little bit different to kind of get your brand or get something out there, so people think, oh, wow, this is slightly different, rather than sticking product all day, and we'll just try different things, experiment, different things, show my creativity that I'm using. The boys are doing, cat cuts every day, sending, here, Dad, have a look at this. Should we push it live?
Yeah.
Up to you. Tweak it a bit, let's put it live. And he's kind of managing that. He's run like 10 videos for me to look at. And I said to him, well, okay, we need to adjust a few things, but he adjusts it and sends them to me by email, and then I'll say, okay, we're going to push this one out. So yeah, I enjoy seeing that happen.
That's nice. Yeah. Well, I'm also wondering, like, what is the importance of taking risks, and also, are there any examples of risks you have taken in your business?
I think the risk I took is, we spoke about earlier, when I was a designer and I went up to creative director level.
Okay.
The risk there I took was I changed, even though I was in the creative industry, advertising and marketing, I kind of shifted in terms of the role that I was playing. Yes, worked at creative director level, but I was in more traditional design, traditional media. But the risk I took then was I wanted to change and adapt in terms of new technology, traditional media, flat graphics. And I thought there's an area where I really was keen to get into, digital marketing, right? So in 2003, I changed tack. That was a massive risk for me. It was a huge risk doing that, because I could have not got a job. But luckily, I used my background, my knowledge and experience to be able to adapt, which we spoke about right earlier. Adapt in an area where literally it was just bubbling, things were happening, internet was kind of kicking off a lot more, and I saw an area that I was quite passionate about, and I thought that's the future for me to get into. So that was a massive risk at that time. I had a good job then as well, So I thought, if I want to change the way that I want to build my career, and that's what I needed to do, and I just took that risk and did it. Just went for it. And I haven't looked back since then. I've been in digital marketing like 15 years now. Spent the first 10 years and spent a lot of time in a social media agency working on a few projects, consultancy projects. Even when I was lot heavily into more digital web builds, mobile apps, again in 2017, was it 17 or and actually 16, no 17, I changed tax then as well. I went into social media. And I thought social media is bubbling, influencer marketing is bubbling. And I thought that's the area I want to go into a lot more and understand, strategy and stuff in terms of, how we grow, accounts in social media, whether it's Facebook paid ads or whether it's Instagram. A lot of brands were starting to use, a lot of social media platforms to push their brand, right? I recall one incident, I remember in 2007, 19 or 18, 19, when TikTok was just bubbling. And we'd put a few TikTok proposals together, and a lot of brands were like, well, it's a lot for kids. But now you look at TikTok, you've got TikTok shops, you've got all the big brands on there.
Yeah.
So, I like enjoying or challenging different areas. It just keeps you alive, I think, working in AI, working in AR at the moment, which I enjoy learning new technologies, even though, it's an industry that is really interesting seeing how that develops. AI is incredible, right? You've kind of touching on it right at the moment, and it's incredible the way that UI is being used. And AR, we did our first AR campaign in 2018, 19 for a well-known brand, and how it's developed since then. I'm working on an AR campaign at the moment. But yeah, I love new technology and just doing something different. I love doing things different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Learning. It doesn't matter how old you are, you just want to learn all the time, different things.
Yeah,
And you adapt.
Yeah, I think that lifelong learning spirit, and also I think AI is obviously a hot topic right now. And I think it'll be interesting to see how as we see these emerging technologies develop, how they'll become more and more integrated into our daily lives even. So it's really interesting.
100%. We're working on AR stuff at the moment. It's incredible, powerful how we're using it, creating ads in AI where you don't really need a production team anymore, right? You don't need a crew, and you're just creating ads for big brands in AI.
Yeah.
Right? In front of your eyes, right?
Yeah.
That's how quick it's growing. So, but at the same time, you've got to use it in the right way.
True,
right?
true.
But it's incredible that what we're seeing and what I'm seeing, and working within AI as well. And it's brilliant. And the boys are learning as well as they're going along.
Wow.
Which is great as well for them.
Yeah.
And saying, you need to understand a lot more AI and what you can do with it, whether it's for the brand or whether you want to create something. And they're beginning to touch, certain tools which are using AI, creating, images, even doing, you don't even have to do a photo shoot nowadays, still photo shoot. You can just use AI and you've got a product in a background in front of you. It just gives you 10 options, right? That's covered a lot of costs, right? That you don't have to fork out on. But
it's crazy. I don't know, it obviously has some negative implications with
it will do. It's with all technologies, right?
I suppose.
It's going to be. But my take on it is that you just, from my point of view, with the boys and with what I do, using a positive light, right? You use social media in a positive light, and that's what we do, But you would always get that.
Now, let's say you got the chance to be Prime Minister, Tandy Virdee, what is something you would implement, particularly when it comes to youth entrepreneurship, or like cultivating an environment so that it's easier and there's that option to pursue the entrepreneurial path over the conventional path?
I put entrepreneurship as a curriculum in our education system. Full stop. Do workshops, go to schools. People have got ideas that they literally say, I've got an idea. Brilliant. Let's get it going. Let's get it to market. Let's support, help, you know. And I'm sure there's loads of kids have got good ideas in schools, right? But they just don't have the support or the knowledge of how to do it, right? I would love to do that, you know, and well, we're hopefully going to be planning to do that anyway. So going into schools, colleges, plucking out young talent who've got ideas and see how we can support and help and elevate, you know, and bring them to life for them and think, you know, there is support out there for young kids who are at school who've got, you know, an idea of whatever idea they've created a product and it's good enough and we've got people can help support and bring it to life. That'd be amazing, right?
Yeah.
It'd be amazing, you know, and again, it's just exactly what we've been doing anyway, right? But then taking it into schools and colleges and then seeing where that talent is and bringing them out and supporting them be brilliant.
Mm.
I would 100% would do something like that.
Well, you have my vote.
Oh, thank you.
Now, I guess like a question which I like to wrap up with as we get to the end of the podcast. What is one quote or advice you want the audience to take away with that you have learned from your work and all your experience?
The only thing I learned really is that if you've got a dream or if you've got any intention of doing anything, just do it. Just do it. Don't think about it. You know, there's always a reason not to do things. You know, again, I use my boys as a prime example because they are heart and soul of what we've been doing together, right? You know, I always say, and they always say to me, Dad, I can't do this. I say to them, you can do it. There's no word in my vocabulary which means you can't, right? You can do it. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. And that's what I say to them, right? Just don't feel afraid, don't feel fear. And if you've got a dream, just go for it. I'm there to support, right? Dad, I want to become a footballer. Dad, I want to become X. It's just do it. Dream big. You know, that's the most important thing, you know, especially the younger generation. Because I feel that they don't get as much support that they don't get that much support regardless, right? In our education system, learning things like entrepreneurship and having a passion that they want to follow. And I think, you know, it's our duty to keep those dreams alive, right? You know, if it's not us, nobody else is going to do it.
True. Where can people find you online if they want to follow your journey?
Online, we've got rocketsonicwear.co.uk. We've got our Instagram channel, Rocketsonic Wear. We mainly on Rocketsonic Wear, our Instagram channel, where we're quite active. We also got our new initiative, which is at We Are New Young Blood. That is also on Instagram. But we will be pushing out content across one or two other platforms, mainly going to be YouTube Shorts and TikTok. But obviously, they're our main platforms, Instagram at the moment. But yeah, we'll see how we grow, you know, especially the new initiative. But, you know, our Instagram channel is the kind of key go-to at the moment.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's really been insightful hearing your journey, and also, yeah, I'm sure a lot of young people who are wanting to be entrepreneurs or who are getting started will find inspiration in this and value. So, yeah, thank you, Tandy, for joining my podcast. And yeah, it's been a great pleasure having you on.
No, lovely. Nice meeting you.
Likewise.
you know, more power to you, and you keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
You
you.
know, your journey is just as fascinating. In fact, I should be interviewing you next time.
Yeah, thank you, Tandy.
Thank you.